Thanks for watching Numbskull News, and today I'm going to talk about San Diego State. I didn't know there were so many Aztec fans that watch my channel. Well, I don't know exactly how many, but there's several. So this one's for you guys. San Diego State to the Big 12. Can it happen? I think there's a possibility. Don't know how remote, but I do believe there's a possibility. I was listening to 365 Sports today. They had Mac Rhodes on. He's a regular guy on there, and I like him a lot. The AD for Baylor, he just seems like he doesn't really BS. You know, if he can't talk about something, he clearly says he can't talk about it. But if it's something that he can talk about, he doesn't really go into huge flamboyant terms over it. But he seems to just tell the truth about it in a very plain, normal, digestible way, and I appreciate that very much as a fan, and not a very smart one, apparently. I think there is a possible pathway. Not saying it's going to happen. Not saying it'll ever happen. I'm saying there is a possible pathway because of the circumstances that San Diego State finds themselves in. So, the president of San Diego State did no favors to the Aztec fans at all. I was not aware that she sent that letter or email. I thought it just went to the president of the Mountain West. She sent it to all the presidents. I don't know if she meant to do that. But because you did that, it really comes off like that was your letter intending to leave. You know, your notice of, I don't know, self-eviction, whatever. And that's how the Mountain West is taking it. And yeah, there's bad blood. There's bad blood there. I believe it was the AD for San Diego State that was talking some shit a while back about, you know, we're going to go somewhere. We're going to go to a Power 5. It's happening, yada, yada, yada. I just think the leadership at San Diego State has really pissed off a lot of people. Because, look, all the programs there would love to go to a Power 5 conference. Boise State's been trying for years. Fresno State's been trying. UNLV is definitely not opposed to it. You wouldn't think Colorado State or anyone else would have a problem going to a Power 5. So they absolutely don't blame San Diego State for wanting to go or having the ability to go or to accept an invite or whatever. But all the shit talking, and then you send out the letter saying, oh, yes, we intend to leave the conference, but we would like an extension. You know, things are happening. You know, it was amateur hour. I mean, this president for San Diego State does not understand college business, sports business at all. Just doesn't get it. They are oblivious, I think, just to how much disrespect they've been throwing, how much shade they've been throwing at their own conference. You just don't do that and then ask for, hey, how about an extension because, you know, Pac-12 sucks. It doesn't work like that. And now they're finding it out that it's not going to work like that. And the chances of them getting into the Pac-12 right now is slim to none before July 1st. I would say impossible. But I believe something interesting can happen with the Big 12. Now, one of the things Mac Rhodes was talking about and was, of course, asked about was the pro rata and how that works. Of course, it's for Power 5 only. Now, he said it's not out of the question for certain G5 schools, but basically the membership, the new Big 12 membership, the 12 that are there, they don't want to lose money over it. All right, the original 8 already gave up money to bring in Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, and BYU. They don't want to lose more money bringing in anybody else, including San Diego State. So it would take their media partners to step up and do a little something there. So something would have to get worked out. Now, there's a lot of people say, well, that's not part of the pro rata. It's not part of the pro rata. No, it's not. The pro rata covers Power 5 only. By the way, Fox does not have a pro rata in the contract. They did not agree to that. However, it's been widely reported they have agreed to put in their share of the media rights deal for whoever, Colorado, Arizona, whatever Pac-12 school to come into the Big 12. All right, they're not contractually obligated to do it by a pro rata agreement. However, they are going to do it, and whoever comes in is going to be a full member. And that's going to happen more than likely pretty damn soon. However, it hasn't happened yet. As Mac Road says, we have not invited anybody yet. Knowing what we know now, and from what we can glean from what Mac Road said, that it would be up to ESPN and Fox on what they would be willing to spend to bring in a San Diego State. But of course, if they do, that means San Diego State will get lowballed all the shit, because now they have no leverage on any conference, on anybody, anywhere. That has been forfeit now. So really an invite for whatever money to the Big 12, they better jump all over it if they get it, if they get the offer. They very well could. If you're ESPN, think about it. If you're ESPN, you want the late night window. You understand the Big Ten is going to have a late night window, especially when they get Oregon and Washington. But it's not going to be an every week late night window. They probably won't have enough teams for that unless they take Stanford and Cal along with Oregon and Washington. I think the chances of that are slim to none, but there is a chance. So if they only have 4 teams instead of 6, they're not going to have a late night window every single week. I don't see that happening. There is still good value for ESPN to have a late night window with Pac-12 schools in the Big 12. Big 12 after dark, if you will. And right now, we don't know who's all willing to come. All right, right now, it looks like Colorado and Arizona are the 2 teams most likely to make the jump. Arizona State, don't know. Don't know. Utah, we don't know. Would the Big 12 go after an Oregon State? We don't know. Maybe, maybe not. So a lot of things have to get worked out that we just don't know yet. And there's only 2 weeks until San Diego State is basically screwed until the 2025 season. So they're trying, because I just don't think after this year they're going to be in the Mountain West. They may not be in a Power 5, but they probably won't be in the Mountain West, because it sounds like the Mountain West are just done. You know, we'll take our exit fee and kiss ass. We're done with you. That's what it feels like. And I believe that's what it is. I thought they could, work something out. They want to avoid litigation. Oh, no, I don't think the Mountain West is scared of litigation right at this point at all, from what it's sounding like. If there's that much bad blood, if you're San Diego State, do you want to be in that conference? Even if you're not in another Power 5 conference? Independence is a tough road, very tough road. I don't know how that works. I don't know how it works. But if you're ESPN, you have an incentive with that late night window. Now, here's the reason why it can happen. The low ball effect. So what would ESPN give San Diego State? And would Fox do anything? Maybe. It's not out of the question that Fox wouldn't get involved as well, because they like that basketball. They love Big 12 basketball. San Diego State, we all know, it's not a blue blood. It is a very respectable freaking basketball team. They just made the national championship game. And they're definitely one of those teams that can make the tournament every year. Now, they got to get it going with the NIL. They don't have that yet. The transfer portal, so they really need to be in a Power 5 to stabilize their program and continue to build that sucker and not drop like a rock, which could very well happen to them in football and basketball. So would they accept a lowball offer from ESPN, maybe Fox, maybe, let's say, combined somewhere in the neighborhood of $12 million a year? You damn well better jump on it. If it's $10 million, you better jump on it. And would ESPN and Fox be willing to throw in $10, $12 million just for San Diego State? They might. They might very well do that, because that's probably quite a bit less money than they would have got from the Pac-12 if the Pac-12 could have got a TV deal like they thought they could get, which we all know they're not going to get that. It's laughable. But we all know, the Big 12 would have to agree to take San Diego State. And Mac Rhodes said some other things that were a little disconcerting to me when it comes to expansion. I've been saying for a while now, 24 is the floor for the Big 12. 24 teams, football teams. And then, basketball only on top of that. I may have to adjust 24 still being the floor, but that's also including basketball only. The reason for that, there's the new college football playoff, of course, is going to be a massive payoff for everybody. It's going to be a huge bump in distribution money coming to the Big 12. But you have to understand, which that's great, that'll, because you'll expand to 16, possibly 20 teams, but going higher than that is going to be a little trepidatious. There's certain ways you can do it, certain ways you can't, because then you're basically distributing money with more teams, so you're losing money, at least on the distribution end of it. And they're still not sure how that's going to work, because it would definitely be dilutive to add teams if it's just a conference payout. Here you go. There's your percentage of the CFP. But if it works, it might be a little different if it works like units, like it does in the NCAA tournament, because adding basketball only schools isn't really dilutive if you're adding Gonzaga, who's in the tournament every year, or UConn, who's in the tournament every year. I would say adding San Diego State, they're in the tournament every year. So you get to the tournament, you get units. Every game you win, you get another unit. So San Diego State did great, especially the last several years. But this year, they got a lot of units getting to all those games and going on that, incredible run they did. But you're going to have to be careful on who you add, especially G5s, because of that payout. We don't know how the CFP payout is going to work yet. So there's some trepidation there. And there's some trepidation on as far as my speculation goes, as far as how big the Big 12 is going to get. There may be a overbloat effect where it's just not worth it. So that's kind of another indicator to me that adding G5s, it's going to have to be about the timing. And if you do it, it's going to probably have to be this summer. Maybe you can get away with it next year, but after that, the Memphises, the South Floridas of the world, a lot of those teams are just, as far as the Big 12, just won't be an option. The Boise States, the Fresno States, all them, just because it's not just dilutive on your media contract. It could potentially become really dilutive in your college football playoff payout, which is going to be massive. So it's like, how much money do you want to lose? That's kind of what it comes down to. So doing it now with the right G5 or G5s, UConn, maybe San Diego State, maybe that could work out. Basketball only in Gonzaga is fine. That doesn't affect your college football payout, because they wouldn't get anything from the CFP. They would get from the NCAA tournament, and they would more than earn their payout. And of course, UConn the same way. But UConn, that's kind of one of the problems. The football isn't that great. It could dilute a little bit of that future payout. Now, if they get better, good enough to actually make a playoff once in a while, then they become very well worth it. And really, if you're the Big 12, that's what you're betting on, that they will get better over time in football to where they do make a few playoffs here and there, maybe even win a playoff game once in a while, and that basically they pay for themselves if it's a unit thing. If it's not, then then it becomes a little more problematic to add more football teams. I do believe there is maybe a slight possibility of San Diego State getting into the Big 12. I think there is a chance that ESPN and Fox deem San Diego State worth a little something, especially being in the market that they're in, and the fact that they still need teams for that late night window. And look, They're right there on the coast. They're San Diego State. That's what they need. And the Big 12, I mean, if for no other reason, you kind of take a piece away from the Pac, you make it just that much harder for them to survive, that's kind of perfect. Because, look, your college football payout, that CFP that's going to go up, it'll go up even more if there's no Pac. Think about that. Your payout becomes more. Even if there's a Pac, but they don't have power status anymore. All right, they're just group of 5, group of 6, whatever. And, you know, look, that's what they're going to become without Oregon, Washington, you know, Colorado, Arizona, and maybe another team or two. I mean, what are they after that? Is that a Power 5 conference? No, it's not. Even if they retain Arizona State and Utah, still not a power conference. They've lost too much. At some point, you lose too much, and they will lose their power status. They won't get the same kind of college football payout as the Big 12, nowhere near it. As a matter of fact, we'll get a lot of theirs. Theirs will be dispersed amongst everyone else, including us. So I think taking San Diego State helps to do that, helps to thwart survival of the Pac-10, 12, whatever you want to call it, 8, 6. That's what we're getting to. Anyway, that's all I got on this, and I hope you enjoyed it, you Aztec fans. You got a little chance to survive, a little chance of getting into the Big 12. Anyway, until next time, I'll come up with another crap video. Bye.